Hey, what's up? In case you didn't know, I'm O, and I'm coming to you from the lab again. I wanted to tell you how I got into coaching. And I mean, I'm a clarity coach now, and I guess this all started when I was a kid. And I used to love to play baseball. That was my sport. And every year, I was a really good hitter. So most teams I played on, I batted fourth, the cleanup spot. Um, And then when I got to junior high school, I started learning about the politics of sports. And I found myself playing the same position as one of the coach's pets. There were a couple situations to where I did something and scored and got yelled at and pulled from the game. Well, let me back up. So I'm on third base and I'm standing next to the coach. The coach is in my ear telling me that it's going to be a suicide squeeze. So he tells me, gives the signal to the batter. Batter didn't even square around to bunt. So now I'm in a rundown. I'm a few feet from home plate, and the catcher has the ball. So I went to playing the game of rundown, and I turned my body and kept an eye on the catcher and noticed that he threw the ball to third base. So I turn around and score. Coach gets pissed, throws his clipboard on the ground, pulls me from the game. This was a preseason game too. Okay, so later in the season, we're playing, and the guy that I was competing with for the same position hit the ball a ton. No lie. I mean, he knocked the shit out of that ball, and he's rounding second, coming to third. The ball's in the air. The coach is telling him to hold up at third. Well, he tried to stretch it in to home run. So basically, the catcher was standing there with the ball, waiting for him to come up so he could tag him out. And the coach said, "That's right, big guy. We'll get him next time." That was my first introduction to the politics of sports. Next time, again, I found myself playing the same position as the coach's pet. And what made this situation worse was that so I was a catcher, and I also played third base, and played right field because I had a pretty strong arm. So I would practice at catcher and then play right field in the game. And it's like I could pull it off, but it's like I couldn't be the best that I could be because I wasn't practicing at the position that I was going to be playing. But it was fine. And I got to high school, and in my my first year I was playing JVs, and this was classic. So I would catch batting practice, and so everybody would get up, and all these guys are hitting the ball a ton, hitting it out of the park, hitting everywhere. And by the time I got up, there was maybe two people after me, but by the time I got up, I think the best thing I hit was a line drive to shortstop. So for the first time in my life, I was batting in the seventh position. But whatever, everybody else was killing it. So we get to the first game. All these guys that were hitting the ball a ton. Yeah, well, they're striking out, grounding out. I went 3 for 3. I had two doubles and a triple. So now all of a sudden the coach is looking at me a little bit differently. Um, Ball was popped up down the third baseline. I'm running towards it. Their bench is yelling, I got it, I got it, I got it. Well, one of the people yelling, I got it, was our third baseman. I had my arm out like this. And then all of a sudden, I see this glove come into the picture. And I'm running one way, and he took my arm the other way. So I really injured my shoulder and actually tried to come back too soon. And that was pretty much the end of my baseball career. No, I came back my senior year. The senior coach asked me if I would come out for the team, and I said, "Sure." Um, I'm going to play right field. I'm playing right field now. Because first of all, his one of his pets played catcher, the other played third base. So it's like, why am I going to sit on the bench or practice at one position and play another position during the game? I mean, those were the two things that I had learned previously. So we knew, me and the two other outfielders, we knew who was going to be the starters. And it got to a point where he did want me practicing at catcher. So I started leaving my glove at home. But I mean, we were pulling balls off the fence. There was one that was hit towards the stands, and a bunch of girls were there, and I kind of pulled myself up and made a catch. I actually jumped and pulled myself up, and I made the catch, and all the girls autographed my glove, and thanks. So the coach came up one time and said, "So I'm gonna, this is gonna be my starting lineup." I was like, "Okay." So of course his pets were where they belong. The guy that we knew was going to play left was playing left. The guy that was going to play center was playing center, and he put a freshman in right field. And I was like, this guy really? And so we were doing situation as in he would hit the ball, and we'd have our back turned at the plate, and when we hear the crack of the bat, we take off running and play the situation. And as I walked up, I asked, I said, "That's your starting right fielder?" And he said, "Yeah." And I kind of looked down and just laughed at him. So he was going to try to prove to me why this kid was going to start over me. So he hit the ball, ended up being a line drive to the second baseman. He yelled at the second baseman to let it go through. So we let it go through. Well, I got a home run out of what ended up a ball rolling on the ground by the time that it got to the guy in right field. And that was the end of my baseball career. I was like, I don't, the politics of sports just, it just didn't seem fair. Then I got in, my first coaching was girls basketball. And basically needed somebody. So I said, sure, I'll do it. I'd never coached a team before, but they needed a coach, and I said, okay, I'll do it. The team wasn't that good. I think we only won 2 games or something like that. And but the one thing that came out of it, the best player on the team ended up becoming a coach, and Max. is a hell of a coach. So I'm proud of her and what came of her. Uh, my next experience was I decided to be a hockey coach, and one of the basically I was somebody talked me into doing it, uh, and he talked me into getting certified, and I always wrote it off. It's like, okay, I'm no longer a whiny parent. Now I'm a whiny coach, and actually learned a lot from my coaching experience. I ended up coaching high school hockey, and I did to coach high school hockey. You needed to be a level 3 of USA Hockey. Well, I ended up going further. I took the certification for level 4, and then so that made me a lifetime coach. And then I went to the level 5 symposium, which is the highest level of coaching certification with USA Hockey. And I went through the certification. Unfortunately, we no longer had a team, and before they had a test, but this year they changed the certification, and it was okay. So basically, you would come up with a game plan at the beginning of the year and develop it with your team throughout the year and report on the progress that you made. So basically, what we had been doing all those years in high school hockey was what I was supposed to do. And let me back up a bit because we we ended up with, I mean, we had some really good players, but a lot of times we had leftovers, people that didn't play on other teams. Uh, but again, we had a really good team, some really good players, and some players that needed development, and we were able to develop them, and we were very competitive, and it was really it it taught me a lot about coaching and the fact that as a coach, it was up to me to point out, what can make my players better. How can I put them in the best position to win? And that's what I did. It's not like I played hockey as a kid. I'm a native San Franciscan, but for me, basketball and hockey, same game. Hockey's just faster and played on ice, a puck instead of a ball, but it's still get the object in the net. Um, and I my kids played, and I tried to keep in mind, to keep politics out of it. So the tough thing is when you're coaching your kid is there's the coach who always puts their kid in, and I didn't want to be that guy. Because again, the politics, I didn't want to play into that. The downside to that, and the manager actually had to point this out to me, is that um, my kids were really good, and by not playing them when they should be playing is just as bad. So I had to learn how to balance that out, and I became successful. And I think some of the biggest joys were today looking at where some of those kids are now. There's a couple doctors, um, one one kid who kind of started in high school. Um, he just won a championship of I think it's it was either American Central Division or Central American Division or something like that. But they just won a championship. He and this other kid that had a chance to briefly coach or was introduced on the ice and ran a few drills with them. And some other kids that have gone farther in hockey and just done some amazing things. And it's just one of those things. Is like I feel that I had a little bit that I can take credit for. You know, obviously they had more than just me, but I my thing, what we believed in is not just creating winning hockey players, but it was about developing young men to be able to contribute to society. And then why I decided to become a clarity coach is because I still I see the potential in people, and I've been trained on different things to help them find clarity in what it is that they're going after. And it's the thing is, and the reason I say I'm a coach, I'm not a therapist. I mean, I'm not a consultant. The definition of a coach is I observe what you do, and then I become the mirror to you and explain what I see and where I see is where you're falling short, possibly. And then it's up to you, to move forward. I mean, I can help you find the path and give you tools to help you go along your path, but I can't do the work for you. And I think a lot of people are looking for that pill, that quick fix that, yeah, this is what I want. But I don't know if I'm really want to go and do the work. Reminds me of the saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. And I I liken that to if your if your comfort zone is where you are now, and what you want is just outside of your comfort zone. It's like you know what you want, but you don't want to do the work to get out of your comfort zone to get what it is that you want. And as a coach, if you if you don't want it, I can't help you. I mean, I cannot help you more than you want to help yourself. And this was something that, oddly enough, I this is my intentions for the month, is to stop trying to help people who don't want to help themselves. And it's kind of the dark side of me that I need to embrace. Because I have a tendency to want to help everybody. And, it's like I see the good in people, even when they don't see it. And it's like, it's all you would have to do is this. But a lot of people don't want to do it or not even interested in doing it. And even though the words come out of their mouth that they want to do it, deep down in their heart, they don't really want it. They want it handed to them. They want all the glory without the pain of getting there. It's like I want to be comfortable getting what I want, but in order to get what you want, you can no longer be who you are. You need to become someone else in order to get that. And that's what I kind of realized this past month. So this is September 1st, 2024. So stepping out of my comfort zone into my shadow is that if I can help you, I mean, if you need help and you want something, then and I can help you, I'm more than glad to help you. But I can't want it more than you want it. And that's what I learned. Hmm. Anyway, that's all I have to say from the lab this month, and talk to you later. Peace.